if you could pinpoint that one thing that's like, definitely get rid of these word tracks or these types of templates, what would that be for you?
My number one phrase that when I see it or read it from a salesperson or a BDR makes me want to immediately stab myself in the shoulder is...
One of the things that I enjoy most about producing the Dealer Playbook is hearing from you. The messages that I get of people who are getting so much value out of the podcast, applying it to their day-to-day workflows and finding a thriving career right here in the retail auto industry. It means the world to me. And one of the ways that we make doing this possible is through my agency, Flex Dealer. And of course, in the spirit of providing value, I think this is a perfect time to head over to www.flexdealer.com to show even further support for you, my beloved DPB gang. Right now, if you go to my website, flexdealer.com, you can get a full free PDF of my number one best-selling book, Don't Wait, Dominate. And the reason I think it's so special is that a lot of the topics that are discussed in this book are even more relevant today than ever with this surge in popularized AI and people wondering, well, what can I do next? How can I have a competitive advantage? Well, that's all here in this book. And so I'd love to be able to offer you a free copy of this. If you go to flexdealer.com, it would mean the world to me because that is how we continue to produce this show for you. Shasta Haddock is the Chief Operations Officer at Epic BDC and host of the I'm a Car Chick podcast. With over a decade in automotive, she's built high-performing BDC teams, created the industry's first elite response team to convert social traffic into sales appointments, and trained dealers nationwide on modern customer engagement strategies that drive results. I'm so excited to dig in today, and I'm coming out of the gates hot, Shasta. I know there are dealers who, we still hear this, they brag about their 30-minute response time. In actuality, we get into the store, we find out it's closer to 60 minutes, but we'll give them the 30 minutes and they're bragging that it's lightning fast. But I've heard you suggest that might not actually be great. That's pretty slow still, especially in this digital age. So I'm curious your take right out of the gates. If you walked into that store, what would you do to start shaving time off of that response time?
There's so many things. First off, you got to see what the internal CRM process looks like. Are the notifications set up properly for when the lead comes in? Who is receiving those? Is there a backup plan if that person or team isn't there? And most of the time there's not. I mean, we talked to a dealership probably less than 2 weeks ago that they had leads that had sat for 3 to 6 days without being touched or before they got touched for the first time. And it's painful. It's so painful because it's so easy to get them. I mean, it comes down to training your BDC manager to know how to go find those. There's some CRMs that once you open the lead, it removes the notification, even if you don't make contact on it. And so knowing how to find those and checking those periodically so that doesn't happen. I mean, there's so many things, but I would definitely start with the CRM processes and get in touch with your CRM rep. They're really amazing. It's their job to make your CRM work properly. But get in there and make sure you've got those notifications set up properly. You don't have any old users in there that are receiving those that are now gone. And really just make that as efficient as possible because you can do a lot with a good CRM process.
I mean, it's one of those things where it's like, okay, you know, 10 years in the industry, over a decade now in the industry. And do you feel like sometimes I feel this way? So I'm curious your thoughts. It's like, it's 2025. Are we still talking about CRM hygiene?
And you probably see the same thing. It's funny to me how talking to different dealers in different parts of the country, how some are so in the now and some even in the future as to how they're doing things. And then other parts of the country are still operating in the 80s and 90s. And it's like, how are you even operating like that with all of these broken things? And there's so much good technology out there. How are you still doing so bad at this? And it's painful because you want to help them and you want to see them operate efficiently. And it's like they're holding themselves back because they're just so laser focused on one thing. It's painful.
Yeah, it's kind of this oxymoronic hyperloop because it's like, what do I want to do? Well, I want to sell more cars and I want to book more service. I want to keep my service base full. Well, what are you going to do to get there? Well, I'm just going to focus on that. You're like, but what if you paid closer attention to your engagement rate and your proposal or your appointment rate and your show rate and your proposal rate and all these sorts of things that actually
Move the
line
needle.
up to that first? It kind of brings me to the next thing I want to talk to you about, loosely related, right? You look into the CRM, you're going through a hygiene exercise and you're realizing that some of these response templates that they're using look like they were pulled out of an Amway catalog from 1954, right? Dusty, old, outdated templates. But I know you've got a knack for getting people to actually respond. So when you are looking at these templates and you're examining the CRM, what are some of the things going through your mind that you're like, guys, that is outdated? Like if you could pinpoint that one thing that it's like, definitely get rid of these word tracks or these types of templates, what would that be for you?
My number one phrase that when I see it or read it from a salesperson or a BDR makes me want to immediately stab myself in the shoulder is, are you still in the market? I can't stand it. I hate that question. It's so ineffective. Anything that says that, and that's easy to take out of a template, but more so just going through those templates and cleaning them up, making them engaging. If they're just something basic, the stuff that the CRM puts in there automatically whenever they set you up for the first time, it's a placeholder. It's not meant to be your forever solution. And honestly, now that we are in the age of AI, it's so easy to change those, come up with something different and make it more creative and engaging. Like that's the beauty of things like ChatGPT. Even if you don't have an AI software at the dealership, ChatGPT is free. Like go in there if you know, hey, this is a 13-day email that's going out to an uncontacted lead. Tell your ChatGPT that, have it help you build a response if you're just not that creative of a person. I mean, it's very simple, but at the end of the day, you're not going to sell a car over email. You're just looking for engagement. You need to earn their trust and you need to sound like something other than every other dealership they've shopped with.
Ooh, I love it. Two things that you said that I want to touch on and dig into a little bit more. The first is ChatGPT is free, and you're really saying, but give it the context it needs, because I think most people right now are using GPTs or other LLMs like glorified Google search.
Yeah.
And they're like, no, the responses stink. And it's like, no, what Shasta said is you actually have to qualify your prompt in order to get a better result back. And then the second thing is that understanding that you are trying to just get a response from them to engage them and build trust. So what is your ideal? What do you find a lot of success with? Are there certain phrases or word tracks or subject lines that you're finding, whether it's text or email or whatever, that just get that person to respond back?
I've had a lot of success talking about things other than the vehicle they inquired on, which is almost wacky and seems opposite of what we're trying to do.
Right.
I will throw a wrench in there asking about their trade, what they love about their current vehicle that they want in the next one. Do you want a sunroof in your next vehicle? Are you looking for cloth or leather seats? Like super random things. Obviously check and make sure they didn't already send that over with the lead information, but just those random things that they're not used to seeing that kind of just make them double take a little bit are where I have the most success. And so the more out of the box, the more not struggling for words right now, not unusual
Right.
responses are what
Right.
can cue them up to be like, oh, this might actually be a real person, because your customers know we're in the world of AI. They know more than likely your follow-ups AI. So anything that you can do to stick out a little bit, if you're doing a human response, you don't want to look like AI. You want to look like a human being, and you want to look like, hey, this is me legitimately trying to help you without also seeming desperate, because I've seen that too.
I love it because it's back to the roots of hospitality.
Yes.
Like observe, like you said, pay attention to what they submitted in their initial request, and don't ask them dumb questions that they might have already given you all the information on. This idea of hospitality starts with observing a need or observing an opportunity and then feeding into it more accurately. This is going to be a side note question, but loosely related to this, because I know your husband is a police officer, right? And first of all, I want him to know we thank him for the work that he does, because that is not I can't even imagine. I've got buddies that are police officers, and I'm like, well, I can't even. No day is the same,
Nope.
and they're out there doing the thing. But I know that whether we think of it this way or not, he is like got to be insane at customer service because he is dealing with people day in and day out. He's dealing with critique and feedback and anger and all the emotions and all those things. What, if anything, have you been inspired by from your husband that you've brought into your BDC rituals, if you will?
I mean, I don't know that it's anything particular that he's done, but the awareness that has been brought to me about the standards that are put on law enforcement, that every single move that they're doing is watched. I mean, they have to have their body cams on at all time. It's now federal law, which is good, good for the community. It's good for them, for their protection, that, they have that. But also when you're being watched, I think that you generally know to act a certain way or to say
Right.
things, stuff like that. And so in the BDC space, letting them know at any minute we could have to pull any of your calls, we could have to pull any of your text conversations. And so you want to make sure that you're staying above reproach on absolutely everything. Like, you never know when you're going to get coached, when someone's going to complain to the dealership and say you said something that you didn't. You have to
Right.
constantly stay above reproach, and you can't lie. If we find out anybody lies, like, that's immediately out the door.
Right.
You cannot lie to a customer. You cannot mislead them. You have to be honest with them and be the person that you would want to be speaking to on the other side. And I think with law enforcement, it's the same way. Like, they're just a citizen like you.
Yeah.
Treat them like
I mean,
human.
that's really powerful, though, this idea of accountability and increased accountability and follow through. I think a lot of organizations, and I know I've been guilty of it in the past as a leader, it's like you set kind of these expectations, but don't create the follow up or the accountability mechanism. And what you're saying, I think, is so powerful because from my observation, and I want to get this out of the way, that come on, DPB gang, I love you. I'm not here to hurt anyone's feelings, but if your feelings are going to get hurt, I just, it is what it is, which is this, like, I don't think anybody's showing up to work in our industry desiring to be a poor performer.
No, I say
I
that all the time.
think, sorry, say, what is it?
I say that all the time. Nobody wants to come to work to do a bad job.
Right. But what I do think happens is we favor short-term wins so much that there's a great amount of ethical fading. Nobody knows why they start to go down this path where they don't know why they want to show up. And then we're installing an accountability mechanism in the wrong sequence, which just creates more fading, like ethical wondering on this employee's part. And now all of a sudden we have a dysfunctional operation from BDC all the way to frontline, all the way to back of the house, and so on and so forth. So I love what you're saying about, hey, like, no, there needs to be accountability. You will be observed. We do want to make sure that you're finding fulfillment in the work you do. And the way that you find that is by providing an experience right out of the gates to customer that they're going to be thrilled with.
Well, and it goes back to something you said earlier with hospitality, because we in the BDC, especially when a new BDR gets trained, it can be very easy to get caught up in the tasks and the minute work, the dial, the text, the email, the video, whatever it is that they're doing. It's so easy to just get caught up in that and forget that it's not just phone numbers on the other side or email addresses on the other side. These are real human beings who are about to make a very large purchase and want to find the place that they can trust with that investment. And so it can't just be another dial, another text, another task checked off. It has to be, I'm here to be your assistant in this process. Tell me how I can help you. Here are the things that I know that I've learned that I'm passing on to you. These are the ways that I know I can help you, but you tell me what you need from me. And it goes back to hospitality every time, anticipating their need before they have it.
Ooh, one of my favorite words, Shasta, anticipation.
Mm-hmm.
Use it in your language and you will avoid so many arguments. You may experience this. You may feel that. I love anticipatory communication, just trying to stay ahead of of things. Oh, that's so powerful.
It's so much in the BDC. You get that from just reading the lead. Like if there was a magic wand that I had that I could just fix every one problem for every dealership at the same time, it would be that every first response, text message, phone call, email, whatever it is, would know everything about the customer's journey based on the information they put in the lead. Like that would be the thing. That's the thing that most dealerships around the country are just missing.
Hey, does your marketing agency suck? Listen, before we hop back into this episode, I know you know me as the host of the Dealer Playbook, but did you also know that I'm the CEO of Flex Dealer, an agency that's helping dealers capture better quality leads from local SEO and hyper-targeted ads that convert? So if you want to sell more cars and finally have a partner that's in it with you that doesn't suck, visit flexdealer.com. Let's hop back into this episode. That's powerful stuff. Okay. Switching gears a little bit and related, of course, you've built this elite response team that took Facebook likes and social metrics. And I'm going to say the word somehow, because I think some people still wonder how this is possible. You somehow were able to turn them into butts in the showroom. How did that idea even come about? And what were some of the key steps you found that made that work?
I think the same way that a lot of people's success came in automotive by complete accident. So
what?
Right. When we had freshly started off, we were working with a few dealerships, but the company was built to help small businesses. And so back in, I want to say it was 2017 or 2018, we had a local gym that like where you would go to work out, that kind of gym, where we were running Facebook ads for them, trying to just help them acquire new customers, things like that. And one day I was placing ads for them and came across a brand new type of ad, which were messenger ads. And I was like, oh, I wonder what these are. Like, it's kind of interesting. So I was like, I told everybody, hey, I'm going to try this out. Like, I'm just going to throw a couple $100 behind it, see what happens. And it was pretty cool. Like you could kind of give the customer some responses that you wanted to have up front. And then we played with those for about a week or so. And all of a sudden I was like, we should try this for a dealership, because at the time we were just doing the regular lead form ads or driving traffic to their website, things like that. And so I placed them for a dealership whose ad budget was like really, really high, and was like, let's throw the whole budget behind it. What's the worst thing that can happen? Until you realize that's going to equal hundreds and thousands of messages.
Right.
Somebody has to answer. And otherwise you just have an inbox full of messages. And we had a very, very light, what we called notifications team at the time that would monitor comments, shares, reviews on Facebook pages, but nothing to that scale. They weren't trained how to be a BDC by any means. They were just handling notifications, making sure that problems got responded to, whatever. So out of nowhere, with this very large ad budget where we now have like 300 messages a day coming into one inbox, we're like, holy crap, we've got to build something to solve this. So I had a few years in the BDC at that point, and so I was like, we need a BDC essentially, but they're not going to have headsets. They're just going to be on Facebook. And so we kind of started training these team members on how to have these responses. These leads are going to be much colder. Well, the conversations are going to be much colder because these people aren't in the market for a vehicle per se. They're just, at the time we couldn't target on Facebook. And so these are kind of just blanket. And these are people who saw the ad and they're either interested in a low down payment, a low monthly payment, low APR, something along those lines. And more likely, they're going to be more on the subprime side. So we've got to have these warming, trust building conversations with them. So we had to not just train people, build out a schedule, build out software so that we could get, once we converted those into leads and or appointments, get those to the dealership, to the BDC or whoever needed to have those. And then before we knew it, like it was actually going really well. The ROIs were amazing. The sold vehicles coming from it were amazing. And we're like, what did we just do on accident? And so it just kept growing and growing. And then we even further turned it into sales events, doing that for dealerships who wanted to just do like a little quick 7 to 10 day thing. And so, but what's awesome is that a lot of people think that Facebook traffic has to be specifically targeted, or we've got to be looking for this specific audience. And that's not necessarily the case, because you've got 98% of your market as non-intenders, but will the right offer hook them in?
Yeah. I mean, well, look, that tracks for me incredibly, because, it's like, we talk about this in the industry where people are not buying cars every day. and we are working in the space every day. So there's already a disparity there between what the customer's actually thinking about more often and what we're thinking about more often. And we talk to them as if they are buying a car every single day. They're not. They are more interested in so many other things day after day after day that, to your point, and you brought this up a little bit earlier, talking to them about those interests or things that they're engaging with. I want to say Robin Wilson. Do you call her Robin at work? Okay. Yeah. I had the same thing. I worked with my dad for years, but at work he was Joe, right? So she talked about turning tattoos. Okay, hold on.
I remember.
I'm digging back into the well here, but she talked about turning tattoos into like a sold car for a dealership there in Joplin.
Yeah. So that is funny. I actually participated in that. So she did it when we were in the works of launching our new company, Social Grenade. We were playing around with some different ideas. And so because of how the Facebook algorithm works, if you get people to engage with your post on day one, then you will have that audience for about 24 to 48 hours afterwards, that your next posts will also pop into their feed. Now, granted, they'll only stay in that if they continue to engage with you. So, if you want to find something to connect with someone on, tattoos are a big thing. A lot of people have tattoos. And so this one was show me your ink and tag your tattoo artists if you have them on social. And the comments blew up. It was absolutely wild because it's something that all of us, number one, we get it because we want to show it off. Like,
right.
I've got arms are all tatted up. And so, absolutely, like everybody's jumping in the comments. You have to respond to all the comments to keep them engaged, but then you keep them in your algorithm for the next 24 to 48 hours. So now we've gotten a tribe. Now we're going to post a vehicle, or I think in that specific instance, she had that salesperson grab their freshest trade or something like that, which was like I want to say Camaro.
Yeah.
And say, what monthly payment could you afford on this? And had several of the people who'd commented on the tattoo post.
So genius.
Yeah. And they ended up selling that car that day to one of the people who commented in it. So it's all about just building your funnel within your Facebook and using the algorithm to your advantage instead of just complaining that nobody sees my posts. Okay, we'll make them.
I want to transition here slightly because, and obviously related, because what we're talking about right now, I don't think many are understanding how massive the opportunity is when you use social the right way.
Mm-hmm.
Let's quantify or define the wrong way. So they're holding up the white postboard. So glad you're here. That's what is the wrong way.
Hey, I sold a car.
Hey guys. Yeah, exactly. Right way. Well, let's dissect what you're talking about. Well, first of all, I mean, even think about if I wanted to build relationships and I was new in a community or new selling cars or a new BDC rep. I mean, I would go and see what Facebook groups existed around my community that had, I don't know, doesn't really matter, 500 plus members. And I would see how active they are, and I would get involved and I would find out what people are talking about regularly. And then I would use that to stimulate conversation. And I would never tell anybody as my first thing, hey, by the way, I sell cars no, I would just go and like what you're talking about. I would just build relationships on the thing that they're interested in. I love that you have this very clear example, and I know you guys have more of how to turn just relationship building into top of mind when they're in that market and how to leverage the algorithms to do that. And I guess I want to transition a little bit to AI and get your thoughts on it. We touched on it briefly earlier in this idea of where like AI is a buzz right now. I can only imagine we're going to get to a place where it's like, we all use it. Who cares? Like the way Google was in the early, mid 90s or whatever. Everybody's talking about it. Became a verb. All the things. Yahoo rose and disappeared and all the things happened. It's a bit of a buzz right now, but I can't think of a better opportunity when everyone is focused on over here, like this AI thing, to jump back in on social and build relationships of trust with people as a human being without AI getting in the way right now. Cause like, your competitors looking in the wrong, not the wrong direction, but in this context, they're looking in the wrong direction.
There are businesses that are so focused on the speed to the lead, or making sure that at least something is handled. It may not be the perfect way, but at least something is handled you can trust, because AI is going to be there. It's not going to call in sick. It's not going to get its nose ring stuck on a pillow and not be able to make it into work for the day.
Is this a real story?
But AI is always going to be there. But us as a human being force, we're starting to be able to tell, I would say, at least 80% of the time when we're talking to AI versus when we're talking to a human. And we all know from the experience that we've all done it. You call into a business and, use Walgreens, for example. You get stuck in their phone tree and you can't get out of it. And then the AI is trying to help you. Please tell me which department you'd like to talk to. I'm sorry, I didn't get that. Please tell me what department you'd like to talk to. And so it's, you're just trying to get to a human being. You're trying to get to a human being because this is a very specific need. This is very important to me. I just need it handled quickly. I don't want to have to take the time to do this. And AI is getting smarter. We've got agentic AI now that is very interactive based and learning very quickly, that I think we should probably be paying a little bit of attention to on the dealership side. Is it perfect? No, but it's getting better.
Right.
Maybe someday it will be perfect. I don't know. But
right.
It's one of those things that, yes, if you are lacking efficiencies, I mean, if anybody knows who Matt Raymond is, Matt Raymond is the COO of Bowtie Solutions, which is a service BDC outsourced. And his number one thing that he always, without fail, shocks the crap out of me with is all of the missed calls at dealerships. Like he does a lot of overflow service calls, and even dealerships where they're like, we have absolutely no missed calls. We're on top of it. And then he's like, okay, great. Try me out for 3 days. Like you let your team have 3 rings, let it go to a different department, and then I pick up everything after that. And the numbers are astronomical. And not just the calls he's getting, but the appointments they're getting from it, the missed money. So even on the dealerships who think they have it 1,000% dialed in, there's opportunity there. And it's mind-blowing how much we're missing, but AI won't miss calls.
Interesting. It's not going to miss the call, but it may miss some nuance, right? It's like a weird in between. I wonder if my thesis here is that we're eventually going to get to the point where it's so commonplace. AI is doing so many different things. And then our human nature is still going to kick in at some point, and we're going to be like, but can I just look another human being in the eye and just get their feedback, just get their. And so I think, where I think about the BDC, and I could be totally wrong here, and I'm open to that, is this idea of, okay, but now imagine the value of you sitting in that room, getting to be the first human touch point that the customer gets.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I think now let's up the ante. This is going to make what they do that much more valuable. And I think we're in a period, to your point, where with this little in between, where sadly, by nature of the beast and in the name of progress and evolution, these BDRs are just going to have to be better equipped at handling the complaints that come from having to go through the AI phone tree for a minute.
Well, and it's humans need to focus on what humans do best and what AI can't do, which is being a human being, having empathy, sympathy, excitedness, like all of the emotions that we can have that AI can try to have, but it again is not a human being. It cannot have emotions. It can portray emotions, but that's where we come in. And like I mentioned earlier, we all know buying a car is a massive decision, unless you're a business owner just needing a tax write-off. For most of us, buying a car is a really big decision. It's a multi-year investment. It's something that we want to be absolutely sure about. And there's a very small percentage of customers that can do it completely transactionally, no emotion in it, no big deal. But the masses, it is something that they have put a lot of their time into researching, a lot of money into. Maybe they bought the wrong car before and realized that, this has features that I don't want, or it doesn't have features that I do want. And so it becomes very emotional for them to know when they're getting what they want versus not, or when they're being heard versus when they're not. I think about the process, and we talked about it off air for a minute, but the process that a customer has to go through in their journey before they even make it to the dealership. And there's thousands of different ways, like 1,000 different places they could submit a lead. And most of the time we're handling the lead the same way, which is not how it should be. It shouldn't be the same conversation every time, whether it's a lead from Facebook, they were scrolling on Facebook, or if they were on Auto Trader or Car Gurus or cars.com, one of those other places, versus if they organically came to your website because they drove past, saw this car and said, I have to know more about it. All of these different journeys are different conversations. And AI, can probably nail that on the head most of the time by scanning through the lead. What the human part of that is knowing how much time and effort the customer put into that, acknowledging that, hey, you've been doing a lot of research. This is awesome for you. And we need to make sure that we get this right and that we get you exactly what you're looking for. And it all comes down to the human level of understanding that AI really cannot provide.
Yeah. Which we're going to crave the deeper we get into this whole AI experiment. I love it. Man, this is so much fun. There's so many other questions that I want to ask you. So we're going to have to get you back because I want to pick your brain. In closing, though, how can those listening and watching connect with you?
I'm very easy to find, I feel like. The cool thing about having a unique name, Shasta Haddock on any social, Facebook, LinkedIn. Really don't use Instagram. That's just me, though. The podcast, I'm a Car Chick podcast. You can find it anywhere you listen to podcasts, or Epic BDC on all the socials, too. But like I said, I'm very Googleable.
I love it. Thanks so much for joining me on the Dealer Playbook podcast.
Thank you for having me.
Hey, thanks for listening to the Dealer Playbook podcast. If you enjoyed tuning in, please subscribe, share, and hit that like button. You can also join us and the DPB community on social media. Check back next week for a new Dealer Playbook episode. Thanks so much for joining.